All right, guys, so welcome back to the channel. Like always, Bytech, the art of technology, multicolor, rugged speaker. This is something that you can find at Five Below. So I'm gonna be honest with you, it's been a while since I did like basic Five Below products because they seem to have not gotten a new stock in lately in the regular section. The 10 and the beyond seems to get a lot of different things, and some of that stuff just is not worth the asking price, gotta be honest here. But anyway, I saw this and said, you know what? Looks decent enough, looks rugged. FM radio, TWS, which basically means you can connect this to another speaker similar to this one if you read the instructions. But for this video purposes, we're only going to review the one speaker. So with that being said, let's get right into this video. Alright guys, so just so you know, there are timestamps on all my videos. Well, not all of them in the past, but the more current ones. And if you want to skip to a particular section, feel free and do that. Oh, this opens from the top, no wonder. Okay, so let me go ahead and slice this open with my master sword. Pause. Down here. And cut that. There we go. So the box is now open. This is the speaker right here. And I gotta be honest with you, sick of micro USB, but it's okay. And the speaker does look nice though. So this does have a micro USB, just in case you guys are wondering. We are going to talk some specs in a moment as soon as I show you how this thing looks. So this is the unboxing right here. This looks nice. I'm not going to lie to you. Look at this ugly box out of the way. This right here looks very, very nice in my opinion. It's very rare for them to come out with speakers that look decent. Looks like this is probably the bottom, so you can actually stand it up right here like so. I'm assuming that this can lay down. Yep, it can lay down on one spot, and because of these two little indents right here, this is how it's going to sit, basically. And then you have your play, probably also, I'm sure this doubles down as a power button more likely. We'll check that in a second. Volume up, volume down, more likely skipping songs, but I will show you guys the instructions like I normally do with these videos, so that way I don't have to go through it manually. But anyway, pretty decent looking speaker. Now let's look at some tech specs, and it's normally on the box right here. So we're looking at Bluetooth 5.0, nothing new, nothing out of the ordinary. Bluetooth 5.0 is perfectly fine for older, well, most older headsets use that. Now, even though this came from Five Below, let's be realistic here. 9 times out of 10, this was probably already in circulation, and it finally made its way to Five Below like a wholesale type thing, and that's why they're selling it. It does light up, which we're going to check in a moment. Right here, 6 wattage. Okay, that's surprising. This has 6. Most of them normally have 5 wattage. Up to 3 hours of playtime. Now, what up to means is that if you play it on 100%, you might get a little bit under 3 hours. But if you play it around 50 to 70% of its maximum volume, normally that conserves the battery to give you the full 3 hours. And it does take up to an hour and 5 minutes. I'm sorry, 1.5, an hour and a half to basically charge it. So if it's completely dead, hour and a half. If it's halfway charged, 45 minutes or so. If it's, it depends. So just keep that in mind. Now, I haven't seen anything that said that this has any type of IP rating, and I highly doubt it does, because if you look at this, the holes going through it, the speakers are deep inside of it, the actual speakers themselves. So I really don't think that they have that. And it looks like this has this little hook chain thing, so you can hook this on a book bag. You can hook this on, I know some people might hook it from their belt. Personally, I wouldn't do that because I don't want anything that heavy, but I know the rockers out there with the parachute pants, I like to call them. I used to have a pair when I was younger. They'll definitely probably hook this on their pants. Let's see right here. Now, this is for the people that has lost their instructions. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do right here is show you this. Now, like I always say, pause the video on the part that you need. It shows you how to pair it, as you can see down there. It shows you what the buttons actually do. Long press, short press. Yeah, I was right about that. See, when I said when you press the button, or hold the button, it changes the song, and press for volume up and down. So there's that. There's Bluetooth mode. This does have FM radio. Now I'm gonna tell you now, I am not checking the FM radio for one reason only. I don't know any radio stations. I haven't listened to a radio for a bazillion years. All my music is downloaded, and my wife does Pandora, or I'll use YouTube to play music, and then I download a song after that. But outside of that, I don't use a radio. Right here, TWS function. That's if you want to connect it to multiple devices. I don't have that. And this is everything else. So let me just go past that one more time slowly so you guys can screenshot the part that you want. And that's pretty much it. So far, I like the way the speaker looks. It looks like a very nice speaker, but more importantly, how do you sync it and how does it sound in real time? And we are going to test that right now in the next section. So I'm going to show you guys how to sync this headset. In addition, I'm going to show you where the charger port is, because if you look at this, right off the back, you might not know exactly where it is. There are no charger ports on the top or bottom. This is the hook piece, so you may wonder where it is. Right here. It's right here. You just put your finger in this little flap, and bam, charger port, USB right there. And of course, these are the physical buttons, so you don't want to tear this off. You just press it back down, and it should fit itself right back in there. There we go. Pretty simple. Neat little trick. I like how they did that, how they cover the charger port, but like I said before, I don't see any IP rating at all. So do not take this to the beach with you. It's going to get sand in it. You're going to ruin it. Bring one that's IP rated. And even if it is IP rated, it's sand. It's going to get in places that you don't want it to. So please do be aware of that. But anyway, this was completely dead when I first purchased it. Had to charge it up for about a good 30 minutes. So now I'm going to hold the power button. Is that not the power button? I could have swore to play with the power button. I could be totally wrong about this. Maybe it's the M. Let me press that one. Oh, so the M is the power button. Get out of here. That's the first time I've ever seen that in a headset. I learned something new. So right now when I hit the M, I'm going to assume that it's in sync mode because I don't see any lights to signify that it is or isn't. So I'm going to go ahead to the settings. See what happens here. We're going to go to Bluetooth. Believe it or not, this is an A20 5G, and this thing is still going strong. So let me see available devices. Oh, pair devices. Here we go. BYBS 186. That's what I'm going to assume that this is called. And just to verify, I'm going to click it. See if it syncs. Press yes. Yes, it is synced. So this comes up, the BYBS 186. I'm sure that was in the, it's right here, actually. And I didn't even realize it. I keep forgetting that with a lot of these alternative Bluetooths, the actual name of the Bluetooth tends to be different than what it actually says on the physical box. So anyway, very simple process. Hold the power button on to turn it on. You'll see the lights come on, and as you can see, the lights constantly change. That's a pretty cool feature. Hopefully the music, I'm wondering if it changes along with the beat. I guess that's probably a lot to ask for, but we will find out in a moment. As a matter of fact, in the next section right now. So unfortunately, there's this weird feature. I don't understand why they do this. Apparently, whenever I play a song, it somehow, some way pops up in Spotify, which is really weird that they would even allow that to happen. Like, this thing has its own music device, but it won't let it play. It only pops up in Spotify. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to play a song that's copyrighted. And you know what? It's fine. Who cares about YouTube ads? This is for video purposes, so you guys know what to and what not buy. So here we are. Oh, whoops. Let me go ahead and play that for you. Here we are. It's from Final Fantasy, what's that, 13? Okay, so it looks like the volume is the highest right now. This thing has no bass whatsoever. My God. Hold on. Okay, so it does get pretty loud. It gets loud. It's kind of lackluster, for being honest here. I really did expect more from a speaker that looked like this. It sounds nice. Don't get me wrong. It sounds very, very nice, very clear. I'm just waiting for the voice to actually drop, the audio. That sounds pretty good. I like it. I don't care. I like game music. Judge me. Anyway, now I did try a couple songs already. I had to sync this to my other phone that I'm recording with to play some music. This was just for video purpose right here. And I want to be honest with you. It has volume. I'll give it that. It has clarity. It's very clear when it comes to the what's the word I'm looking for here? The sounds, the sounds, that's the worst description ever. When it comes to voices, audio, if you're playing rock music, if you're playing certain songs, to give you an example of what I played on my other phone, I ended up playing Weight of My Pride, Tuesday, I mean, you've ever heard that song, The Verge, Bittersweet, I forget the full name of that song. I played that just with all the instruments in the background, some St. John. There's another one I played. Let me see if this phone has it. I didn't do Mario Judah this time. It's another artist. It's not on this one. So it's on my other phone. I didn't update this particular other file. But there's a song where, I forget by the name of it, the person that made it. But the point is that I played a lot of rock music this time around, not so much rap, because rap has a lot of bass. But rap tends to have less instruments in the background. Even if you're using FL Studio or Logic, it really depends on the artist. And when you listen to a lot more rock or classical or R&B, things like that, you tend to hear a lot more of the melody. So you can determine if this is actually worth using. And if we're just talking about sitting inside of a room by yourself playing something, it's not bad. The volume is not bad on this. It's actually very, very clear. Even when you turn it up and play music, it doesn't distort either. You know, a lot of cheap speakers tend to distort and struggle whenever you listen to the music at a higher octave, when it's up about 70% or higher. This one didn't struggle in any of those ways. Now, what I will say is that if you're a person that requires some form of bass, it's practically non-existent with this speaker. Even if you use an equalizer, I'm going to be honest with you, depending on how high the equalizer is, and I did try that with Power Amp, that's what it's called, that I have on my other phone, it just didn't handle it well. It can't. It's not meant to handle those type of things. It's one thing if you have earbuds in your ear that are adjustable. It's another thing when you have a speaker. It cannot handle those type of adjustments. I'm sure a professional can perfect it and get it to sound a lot better. But if we talk about the average person that just wants to hear some type of bass, like if you listen to a Drake song, if you listen to a Kendrick, I'm not going to mention Kendrick Lamar. I don't know how many people really listen to him on every day. But if you listen to certain artists, Deuce, certain rap songs I tried myself also off camera, it just did not have that feeling. It didn't make you feel like you wanted to dance to the music. It was like, all right, it's playing, it's good enough, it's there, it'll hold me over temporarily till I find a speaker that's actually good. This doesn't sound that great, if we're being honest here. Now, even though it has a feature that allows you to sync it to another headset of this kind, I still think that it just won't sound that good because it doesn't have bass. There's no quality of music here. It's just, yes, the sound is crisp in terms of voices. It sounds decent when you can hear all the little instruments playing. That's why I played Sunset Waterscape, whatever it's called, from Final Fantasy 13. That might be 13 too, or I forget which one it is. But the point is that, yes, it plays all those instruments well. So a classical artist that it'll sound very clear. But if you're doing rock music, death metal, rap music, jazz will sound fine. Podcasting might not sound that good because even when the Joe Budden podcast is playing or something like that and hit the air horns and different things, it's going to sound like there's no bass to it. If you know what I mean. Like if you're at a real concert, obviously I can't compare that to a speaker, to any speaker for that matter. But if you're at a real concert and you have an amp hooked up, you can feel the music. It puts you in a particular mood where you want to dance and groove and things like that. With this speaker, it's like, it's here, it's usable, it's not bad, it looks nice. The look is what really gets you, if we're being honest here. The music is just, I don't want to quite say mediocre, but it's very close to it if we're talking about bass and anything else. It has volume. Yeah, it can fill up a room, a small room, but if people are talking, it's going to easily drown it out because there's no real discerning features that make this speaker stand out outside of the color changing. That's pretty much it and how cool it looks. But outside of that, meh. I would say pass, but it's $7, so to each their own. But anyway, let's talk about if this is actually worth purchasing. So the question is, for anyone that actually skipped this part, I'll give you a quick recap. Is this actually worth purchasing? Yes and no, and I'm going to explain both reasons why. First off, yes, because it's a $7 Five Below product. So if you're going to Five Below, nobody is expecting Bose quality at Five Below. Let's be realistic here. That's never going to happen. On the flip side of that conversation, there are other products by Bytech, by what are some other name brands? Tech Solutions, things like this. You have Bass Jacks out here, Bass Jacks products right here. There are so many different products that have different sounds where none of them are equal, even if it's made by the same company, which is very weird to me, because you would think they would at least give you somewhat decent sound on some of their speakers, even if the design changes, to fool people to think, oh, this is a newer speaker, it's better. No, this speaker is mediocre if we're talking about bass. It's non-existent whatsoever. If you play Korn, if you play Limp Bizkit, Limp Bizkit, I'm showing my age. If you play AC/DC, if you play Guns N' Roses, no matter what you play, it's not going to sound great on this speaker right here, because all the instruments that's playing in the background, like the riffs, guitars, the bass, things like that, it doesn't have the ability to bring that out. It won't sound right. It'll sound lackluster, like, ooh, this is the artist that people told me to listen to. Don't let this speaker fool you. It looks beautiful. I love the way the speaker looks. But if we're talking about quality of sound, it's just not there. It's just not that good. It has volume. It is very clear with vocals and things like that. So if you listen to a podcast, yes, you'll be perfectly fine. It doesn't struggle when you turn the volume up, and it does have that 3-hour battery life, which is semi-decent in the speaker range. But again, with the price tag of $7, what are you honestly expecting with stuff like this with these type of brands? It's not Anchor quality. It's not even JBL quality. Not JBL, I'm sorry, JLab quality. And that's the lowest out of all of those TV brands. But again, $7, you can't go wrong with $7. But like I said before, there are other speakers at Five Below that are substantially better than these. And if you guys want a list, I'm more than willing to go through some of them, even though I gave a lot of them away for Christmas gifts and the family and things like that. This is something that I would not give away, primarily because it's just not that good. Now, if I package this with a pair of headphones, amongst other things, like here's an example. If I do this Krillin in here, this figurine, this Goku right here, if I throw in this tablet, because I get them for dirt cheap, and I throw everything together as like a care package for people, and I do that for godchildren and people like that, then a speaker is a nice little accessory to throw in, because it has a hook. You can hook it on your book bag, throw it wherever you want to go, and it'll play music out loud rather than using your phone and blowing out your phone speaker. But outside of that, it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful looking piece of, I don't want to call it junk, but it is what it is. Anyway, like and subscribe, guys, and I will see y'all in the next video.